It is always a bright day when morning comes to this popular town in the southwest of Nigeria, a place where every sunrise stirs life into motion. Here, no one wakes to idleness. From the first light, the people rise to their work, their laughter, their rhythm. It is a community where peace and harmony live side by side, like brothers under the same sun. This is a town where the young never sleep on their dreams. Each morning they rise with hope in their eyes and strength in their steps, believing that one day, by the grace of the Creator, their dreams will surely come to pass. As the elders say, anyone can dream, but only a few have the courage to bring that dream to life. Yet here, the people understand. Destiny gives every man and woman a choice. The path they walk and the work they must do to reach their tomorrow. In this peaceful community lived a young girl named Titi, bright, gentle, and full of promise. She was the pride of her parents, the light that made their home glow. Titi was beautiful, the kind of beauty that draws eyes, yet wrapped in innocence and humility. But unlike what many might think, her life was never about admiration. It was about discipline, respect, and dreams. In those days, the 1970s, the people of this town held their daughters in high esteem. According to their beliefs, a daughter's purity was her family's name, her virtue, their glory before the world. To give a maiden in marriage as a virgin was a crown of respect, a symbol that the family had walked in the path of discipline and dignity. And so, Titi grew in that light, learning, dreaming, walking with hope. Titi had two close friends from high school, Debe and Mary, girls she was almost never seen without. When she wasn't at home with her parents, she was with them, sharing laughter, reading together in the school library, or strolling through the market as young decent ladies often do. Their friendship was pure, full of joy and innocence, the kind that makes youth feel endless. But just the other friendship, you're always closer to one than the other. So, Titi and Debbie talk more. Mary's parents often told her to learn from Titi, to watch how she carried herself with wisdom and respect beyond her age. That's why you would always see the three of them together. Their friendship was more than just girl talk. They spoke of dreams, of education, of the kind of future they wanted to build. They laughed, they hoped, and they believed that one day, life would reward their patience and their purity. William, on the other hand, was a fresh graduate, a great pride to his family and to the whole community. He had just returned from the big city of Lagos, carrying the dreams of his parents like a crown upon his head. William chose to come back home, to teach, to guide, and to help others rise through education. Every evening, he gathered young students in the classroom for extra lessons, preparing them for the joint admission examination, the key that opened the doors to the university in those days. To many, William was not just a teacher. He was a symbol of hope, proof that from this humble town, greatness could still be born. He graduated from the University of Lagos as a laboratory scientist, but his heart was always drawn to teaching, especially biology, his favorite subject since his high school days. In the community, many parents admired him. They saw in him discipline, knowledge, and humility. They trusted him and often said, "Let our children learn from William. His path is a good one." And so, young people gathered around him, eager to learn, to dream, and to follow his example. Titi, like many others, picked interest in William too. Her love for biology made her feel a special connection with him, for he spoke with passion about the subject she cherished most. Her dream was to become a nurse one day, to heal, to care, to serve her people. William often advised her about life, about patience, and about chasing her dreams with discipline. He took extra time to help her understand her lessons, and in return, Titi began to read more, study harder, and believe more deeply in what she could become. His words planted a seed, the desire to be her best, not just for herself, but for the pride of her family. She started visiting the library often, just to know more and be able to develop herself, to achieve her dream of becoming a nurse, just like what her dad and mom prayed for. William truly believed he could help Titi become even better. One evening, he decided to visit her father, a strict, no-nonsense man known throughout the community for his discipline and integrity. But because of the respect everyone had for William, the man welcomed him with open ears. With calm confidence, William explained his intention, that he wished to give Titi private coaching to help her grow and prepare for the future she dreamed of. Titi's father listened, thoughtful and pleased. Later that day, he discussed it with his wife, and together they agreed. The idea was good, and their daughter deserved every chance to shine. He told her wife how William spoke of her brilliance, her focus, and how with the right guidance, she could go far. They were both happy about the compliments, believing their great work on her has been noticed. The next day was Sunday, and after service in the church, Titi spoke with her close friend, Debbie. She told her everything about William's visit and his plan to coach her privately. Debbie welcomed the idea, but she also gave a gentle warning. She said, "Be careful, my friend. William is not married, and sometimes men can change when they get too close." Titi only smiled and brushed it off with a soft laugh. She respected William deeply and believed he was different, mature, disciplined, and too civilized to act in any improper way. In her heart, she saw him not as a man to fear, but as a mentor sent to help her become the best version of herself. Titi and Debbie were together throughout the church service, and they both discussed about other things as usual before the end of the church service. A few days later, William began the private coaching classes with Titi, just as he had promised. From the very first day, he made her feel at ease, patient, calm, and always ready to explain things in a way that made learning seem simple. Titi enjoyed every session. She admired how he turned difficult topics into clear ideas, how he spoke softly yet with authority. Over time, she began to see him not just as a teacher, but as the big brother she never had. For Titi was the only child of her parents, and in William's company, she felt safe, guided, and understood. She told her mom about William often on how William has been a good person towards her, and how good he had been teaching her. After a few weeks of lessons, Mr. William invited Titi to his house. She agreed to visit. After all, she saw him as an elder brother, someone she respected and trusted completely. When she arrived, William welcomed her warmly and proudly showed her around. The house was neat, well-arranged, a true reflection of a man who had seen the city. But what caught Titi's attention the most was the shining object in the corner of the sitting room, a colored television. Back home, her family only had a small black and white set, the best her father could afford. So seeing a colored TV for the first time filled her with wonder. Her eyes lit up like morning sunlight, and she sat, quietly amazed, unable to look away from the bright moving pictures that danced before her. Titi stayed only a short while that first day, then went home with joy still shining in her eyes. A few days later, William sent another invitation, this time asking her to come and watch a movie in his room. He knew how much she had admired the colored television, and he was certain that the thought of it would draw her back. And just as he expected, Titi agreed. She came again, innocent and trusting, just as she had before. But that day, William's intentions were no longer the same. Behind his calm smile, another thought had begun to grow, one that would soon test the purity of her trust. But after some time in that quiet room, the air began to change. William's voice grew softer, his eyes restless, and suddenly, his actions no longer matched his words. Titi was frightened. She had never seen this side of him. She tried to move away, tried to speak, but he would not stop. Her strength was no match for his. And in that moment, the trust she once held was broken. When it was over, silence filled the room. William sat in shame, whispering words of regret. It was the work of the devil, he said. But those words could not undo what had been done, nor heal the wound now living inside her heart. Not long after, the sky grew dark and the wind began to roar. Heavy rain poured down with thunder and storm, washing through the streets of the town. Titi could not go home. The storm held her back. Meanwhile, her parents searched and worried, calling her name into the wind. But when the rain grew stronger, they comforted themselves with hope, believing she must have found shelter somewhere. waiting for the storm to pass before returning home. Titi could not wait any longer. She could not even sit beside William. Her heart was heavy with sorrow and disappointment. The man she once trusted like a brother had broken that trust in the cruelest way. With tears flowing down her face, she picked up her books and left his house, walking through the rain toward home, her mind lost in fear, shame, and confusion. When she arrived, the house was empty. Her parents were still at a friend's place, waiting for the storm to end, believing their daughter was safe there too. But inside that quiet house, only the sound of rain kept her company, as she stood soaked, trembling, and broken by what the night had brought. When the rain finally stopped, Titi's parents left their friend's house and returned home. As they stepped into the compound, they saw her shoes by the door and knew she was already inside. But Titi was in her room, her face buried in tears, her mind lost in fear and confusion. She kept thinking of what had happened, unsure of what to do or who to tell. Though her heart ached to speak, she could not find the courage. She knew her parents' ways, strict, disciplined, and proud. Out of fear and shame, she decided to keep her pain to herself, praying silently that somehow time would heal what words could not explain. About a month later, Titi slowly began to find her strength again. The pain had not left her heart, but she gathered enough courage to stand and speak, at least to one person she could truly trust. She went to see her close friend, Debbie. As always, they began with laughter, talking about school, life, and the little things that made their friendship feel normal again. But soon Titi's smile faded. She took a deep breath and told Debbie everything that had happened in Mr. Williams' house. Debbie was shocked. Her face froze in silence, her eyes filled with disbelief. She wanted to help, but she didn't know how. And when Titi said she could never tell her parents, Debbie's heart grew heavy too, for she knew the burden her friend now carried alone. Debbie was heartbroken after hearing all that Titi had gone through. Her heart ached for her friend, and she wished she could take the pain away. Still, she encouraged Titi to stay strong, to keep her mind on the future, and not let the past break her spirit. The joint university admission exams were fast approaching, and Debbie hoped that focusing on their studies would help Titi heal, even if just a little. Titi was determined to give her best. With the help and encouragement of her friend Debbie, the only one who knew her secret, she pushed herself to study harder than ever. Her heart was heavy, but her mind was focused. She wanted to pass the exam and secure the grades she needed for university admission in the coming months. When the day of the exam finally came, Titi walked in with her friends, quiet but ready. Hours passed, pens moved, papers filled, and when it was over, smiles spread across their faces. They were proud, relieved, and full of hope, believing their answers had carried them one step closer to their dreams. When the final bell rang, joy filled the air. The students poured out of the examination hall with laughter and excitement, their hearts light after days of sleepless study. Titi and her friends were smiling all the way home, talking cheerfully about the questions they had answered, proudly recalling the ones they already knew by heart. Their voices filled the dusty street with laughter as the golden evening sun followed them on their way. They felt free, the kind of freedom that comes after hard work and hope. And as the day drew to a close, each of them returned home to rest, ready to lay down their tired bodies after a long, fulfilling day, hoping to meet another day and talk more about it. The next morning, Titi was in the kitchen with her mother, helping to prepare breakfast. As they cooked, she spoke happily about the exam, how well it went, how she answered the difficult questions, and how she was sure her hard work had finally paid off. Her mother smiled proudly, her eyes shining with joy. She thanked God and praised her daughter's effort, saying, "A child who listens and studies will never be put to shame." For a while, the kitchen was filled with laughter, the aroma of food, and the comfort of love between mother and daughter. But deep inside, Titi's heart was not at peace. No matter how happy she tried to be, memories of that terrible day in Mr. Williams' house would creep back into her mind, and her smile would fade, her spirit sinking again into silence. She wished again and again that the day had never happened, For even in her brightest moments, that memory remained her darkest shadow. She tried to hide it, forcing a smile, moving carefully, making sure her mother noticed nothing unusual. Yet inside, she knew something was not right, and fear began to whisper softly in her heart. That morning, Titi woke up earlier than usual. She could no longer ignore the strange feelings in her body, the weakness, the morning sickness, the tiredness that refused to go away. With quiet fear, she dressed and went to see a doctor in the nearby clinic. Sitting nervously, she explained her symptoms, how she felt sick every morning and couldn't understand why. The doctor listened carefully, then advised her to do a scan, just to be sure. Moments later, the result came out, and the truth stood clear before her eyes. The doctor called her gently into his office and said, "Titi, you are pregnant." The world went silent. Her heart dropped, her breath slowed. She could not believe what she just heard. Everything she had feared had now become real. And now, Titi was pregnant. The world around her seemed to stop. Her heart, her dreams, her laughter, all standing still. She sat in silence, her hands trembling, her eyes filled with tears that refused to fall. In her mind, questions echoed like thunder. How did it come to this? What will I do? She thought of her parents, their pride, their name, their trust, and the fear grew inside her like a fire she could not put out. Titi knew this would destroy everything she had worked for, her dream of becoming a nurse, the respect of her family, the love her father always spoke of with pride, all of it now hung by a single thread. She remembered the mistake, the silence, the secret she chose to keep. If only she had spoken, if only she had told them, maybe things would have been different. But now it was too late. Now tell me, what do you think will happen next in the life of this young girl named Titi? Did she make a great mistake by keeping her pain from her parents? Or is this burden simply too heavy for an innocent girl to carry alone? The story of Titi has only just begun. Follow our YouTube channel to watch part 2 and discover what fate has written for her. And don't forget to stay with us for more powerful folk tales and life stories that touch the soul.